Good morning and welcome to the outside of Terrain Tamer Africa HQ. We are here today because we are upgrading, or we're doing some upgrades to our Kela, and we are going to do the upper control arm. So we're upgrading the upper control arms. As you know, I have got Terrain Tamer suspension in it, so it's time to do Terrain Tamer upper control arms. We are here at Terrain Tamer Africa HQ and we have Marinus here. So Marinus, please introduce yourself and just tell us what your role is over here.
Okay, I'm Marinus Potgieter. I'm the branch manager for Terrain Tamer Africa. So our branch basically covers sub-Sahara Africa for Terrain Tamer, head office in Australia and Melbourne.
Cool, and then so we've got the upper control arms here. So tell me, what's the difference between these and the standard upper control arms?
So as soon as you lift your vehicle suspension, due to the fact that your upper control arm and your low control arm is not the same length, they're also not sitting at the same angle. So as soon as you drop basically the upper control arm, where your wheel sits, your cast and your camber of the wheel goes out. So what we need to do is we need to move the wheel a little bit out because the top upper control arm is shorter than the bottom one. So if it droops, it brings the top of the wheel bit in. And then also what happens, it pulls your top ball joint to the front, and we need to move that a little bit back to correct the caster and camber on the wheel again.
Okay, now I've ran my Terrain Tamer suspension for about a year, just over a year. So am I correct in saying it's not mandatory to have this fitted when doing a suspension upgrade, but like you're saying now, it's a good idea to eventually get it when you can, correct?
Yeah, as I said, 95% or even more people don't do it. It's not mandatory. You won't get at the end where you say, okay, but I can't drive the vehicle because the caster and camber is out. But it does improve, especially if you do long distances, it does improve the caster and camber and the handling on the vehicle. So on your solid front axles, you normally do a caster correction. With your independent front suspensions, you'll need the caster and camber correction that's done through the upper control arm. It also has a little bit more space around your coil, so your droop is actually, if you have a suspension lift, your wheel can actually drop down to the bottom of the shock extension, where a lot of times if you use the normal upper control arm, your standard upper control arm, the space is not enough there, so your upper control arm will actually crash into your coil before it actually reaches the bottom of the shock.
Cool, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Like you can see here, there's a lot of parts right around me. So they do a lot of mechanical parts. So for the upper control arms, they do for most Toyota brands or models, that's what I'm looking for. They also do Ford, they do Mitsubishi Triton, and they do the Navara as well. All the upper control arms. And interesting, which I didn't know, I found out recently, is for a standard upper control arm, they do the ball joint. So you can replace the ball joint and you can replace the bushes on your standard upper control arm as well. So yeah, everything is packed in my car. I quickly came to get this, and now we are heading off to Tyre Tyre at Somerset to have it fitted over there. So let's go. Okay, so we are now at Tyre Tyre at Somerset. This is Zane. So Zane, please introduce yourself.
So I'm Zane from Tyre Tyre, Somerset West. I run the 4x4 division for Tyre Tyre in the Western Cape. So that's basically the aim of my business. So we have a dedicated 4x4 side here, which you have visited for a couple of occasions already. So yeah, today we've got your Hilux here for upper control arms.
Yeah, so as you see, we can do the upper control arms. So tell me, is it an easy installation, and how is the timing, like duration of the installation of the upper control arms? Let's take my Hilux, for example, this year model, and I know you've done a Fortuner for one of my clients as well before.
So the installation is quite simple. Obviously, if it's a trained professional like what Joe Rain is over here. So duration, you probably can look at about an hour and a half to 2 hours, give or take. That's including the wheel alignment, which we'll have to do after this, just to ensure everything is in specification, that your cameras are nice and upright, which obviously the upper control arms help with as well. So yeah, if you go to trained professionals, it's fairly simple and straightforward for them to do. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to do something now that we've got both out here. So just hold this mic, and I want you explained it quite well now, just to explain the difference between the new versus the old ones. So just hold this. Now this is the left and right, so these are different ones.
Yeah.
But you said the biggest difference is with the ball joint, the extended ball joint, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So obviously this ball joint is extended, and that's obviously for guys that have aftermarket suspension in where the vehicle is lifted, at least over 40 mils. Then we generally just having the upper control arms fitted. That also helps for guys that do the alignment for better and accurate alignment. So the arch is much bigger than what your original one is. So what it basically does, it pushes your wheel back to the original specification where it's running nice and free. So it's better accurate alignment basically, and it also helps a bit with the turnability as well. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so it's being fitted now. First one's in. This is the right hand side. This goes in next, but it's going pretty quickly.
Yeah, lekker.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
I am back home. I tried to test it on the way back, but it's not something you necessarily feel on the road. The front end does feel a bit more stiff and solid in a good way when going over these speed bumps over here on my way home. So that's where I think in off-roading you'll pick up a bigger difference, but it's a modification that's subtle. It's not something you'll feel instantly. Like they said, it has a bit more downward droop when 4x4ing, and it's just a bit like the ball joint is also extended, so it's more for camber and alignment, wheel alignment. That's what it's actually for than an immediate modification where you'll feel a difference. So maybe when off-roading I'll feel a bit more difference, but this modification is more for your wheel alignment and things like that to explain to you a bit easier. So if your wheel is upright like this, you add longer travel suspension and it pulls your wheel this way, inward for example. Then you add longer or upgraded upper control arms, and now you are able to tilt your wheel back upright again. So that's basically the biggest change, that and left and right. So like I said, it's not something you'll instantly feel, it's something in your wheel alignment and balancing. If your wheel alignment wheel alignment is good on a standard upper control arm, then with these upgraded ones, they'll feel the same, but they've got more, what's the word I'm looking for, adjustment, more movement to be able to correct your alignment correctly. But have a look at this. So this is the old one, and this is the upper or the ball joint at the top, and it should not be able to move that easily. These, both of my left and right, the ball joints at the top were basically done for. They're supposed to be quite a lot of effort you have to put in to move these. So it was a good idea that I replace my upper control arms anyway. So yeah, there we go. Upgrade is done. I'll see on off-roading if I can feel a big difference, but like I said, it's more of a alignment thing and space between your coil, as Marina said. So yeah, there we go. And it's been installed. I'm very happy with it. It's something I've wanted for a while. And if you have any questions regarding this whole setup, about the upper control arms, things like that, let me know in the comments below. I'll get to them, or if I don't know the answer, I'll get someone who knows the answer to be able to answer those questions for you guys. And yeah, that's that for the video. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Cheers. So we are now here at Terrain Tamer in Somerset. No, Tiger Wheel. Oh, get a flick. Like a blooper reel.
Is dit dan 3D print?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool, no? They're forever lost. Because look at this. This is the old one. So this is a ball joint. You're not supposed to be able to